and second pick.
So it looks like LGD, now that they've lost the game, have opted to pick second, and that is going to be a bit of an interesting choice. It seems like both sides are kind of happy being in these specific positions as LNG decides to take the blue side of the map. So we're going to be very similarly oriented. We're seeing very similar bans across the board, at least so far. That VODS, of course, not going to be playable for Shaoye, as is that LeBlanc for Tangyuan. But being that we're in Fearless, going to see some different champions. An early Pantheon was one of Croco's most played in 2025.
And for LGD, they're banning away these two incredibly strong mid laners, the Azir and the Orianna. I understand they're strong. You don't really want to play against them, but there is a Vi. Again, you could go Vi Taliyah here, Vi Ahri. That is something that I wanted to see. The Aphelios is okay. I think it's got a really high output, but I'm unconvinced in some games at the prio of this ADC over something like a Yunara. I think Yunara, in my eyes, irks it out, and having neither of these champions prioritized in the last draft surprises me that the Aphelios is a first pick. It will still be the Vi, so essentially here saying we're happy with the Taliyah or the Ahri. I could see LNG also taking one of them. It's a good pairing with Pantheon. So having two mids up, they want to take away this Vi.
Yeah, similar identities here for the Vi and for the Pantheon into the jungle position. Lock down one specific target, allow for follow-up CC, follow-up damage from your mid laner, or maybe even some other players as well.
Oh.
That's why we see things like the Taliyah go alongside it. Is we're going to get a very big switch-up in the bottom lane here. 1xN and Missing going for the Ziggs-Leona combo, presumably. Now, this is not only going to be 1xN's first Ziggs game of the season, this is Missing's first game on a melee champion this season as well. So, big changes here, and perhaps it's LNG playing with their food a little bit, knowing that they have that 1-0 lead.
This at least feels like something that LNG have prepared. They were ready for. There's the RA pairs with the Vi. That was nothing too spectacular, but it's the speed that this was locked away that surprises me the most. Seems like LNG, as soon as they saw this Aphelios, because Ziggs is not necessarily good into Vi. That's more of like a Zyra Khan type angle, which is something that I'm surprised we haven't seen priority with the Essence River Spellblade, the Xayah. But the Ziggs Leona was like, yep, this is what we're going. We're going this dive comp. Again, Ziggs is a dive champion. I know that sounds strange, but because he's an artillery mage with long distance abilities, he functions in a dive comp really well. The Leona goes in, the Pantheon goes in on top, the Ziggs ult lands on everyone's head to participate in the dive. A Taliyah would be great if it doesn't get banned away, but it probably should be. And then after that, I mean, it could be Ziggs mid, it could be a Kai'Sa from bot, or even an MF would be quite nice to further facilitate that range damage follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, the Akali definitely is something that can match that dive playstyle that Croco has already gone for. Wonder if the Taliyah will be banned away by LGD now, as it looks like LNG is focusing bans towards YCX, who again does more prefer some of those Warden champions. Things like the Thresh, the Braum has been something that he's played pretty frequently throughout his career so far. No Nautilus going to be available against Leona as well, so taking away things that could be good into this Leona pairing. So waiting for a support, and then most likely a top laner here for LGD.
Leaving ADC counterpick, and it does make sense. Sorry, top lane counterpick. I'm so blind. I don't know. I think my mic was covering the Aphelios for a second there.
Thing back in the day, so you know. Don't count yourself
Maybe if
out.
the Shy comes back, he'll have to bring it out in this year. I think he was one who played Kalista top. Top lane counterpick. That makes a lot more sense. So this should be Aurora top. I would be really surprised if they're playing double mage carries. Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. So,
all right,
kind of a pseudo dive champ here in the Aurora for BuLLDog, and then a full-on all-in comp or up in the top lane for Sheer on the Renekton. Going to be matched up against Sasi on the Jax. See if he goes for that AP build, although maybe AD is more preferable in this situation. But regardless, a fun composition for LGD. I think they got a little bit more of what they wanted. Shaoye on the Aphelios definitely provides a good late-game damage backup plan. And then this mid-jungle, Heng and Tangyuan, going to want to get active across the map.
This is a better look, in my opinion, from LGD, at least in terms of how the series is playing out. Again, I didn't dislike the draft from last game. They just didn't play to its strengths. I think that giving Heng and Tangyuan something to play off together is really nice. Late game insurance from Shaoye is great. I was talking to you, I can't remember if it was live or not, about this new Jax build.
Yeah,
we
talked about it.
Is it Dusk and Dawn? Dusk and Dawn full AP Jax that's been going around. That's would be really nice to see. It's a lot of wave clear, a lot of burst damage. You're not as tanky, but you still are able to go the Zhonyas. I'm not fully sure on the build. It might be like a Rift Maker angle for the Jax. That does make sense to me. But I like this LGD draft. We're going to be team fighting. Let's team fight.
A lot of stuff on the table here for LNG. LGD as well. Need to bounce back after a bit of a tough game showing last time around. Again, battle for first place in Group Nirvana is on the line here. Will LNG be able to prevail? Again, a lot of people had them as the favorites in this group here in their home arena. Or will it be LGD taking us to a decisive game number 3? About to find out as we head on to the Rift for game number 2.
Oh. I can hear them. They're quiet, but I can hear them. There are some. Maybe the crowd mic's not turned up super loud tonight. But nonetheless, we are here, Grapes, on our second, potentially final game of the night, as LNG did win that game fairly convincingly, but it was off the back of very aggressive start and some pretty aggressive trading in the bot and mid lane right now. So both teams still coming out hot as they did in that first game. We did have like a 20-minute interim period in that second game where nothing really happened. It was a lot of macro plays, and even then a lot of just farming, ping-ponging waves back to each other. One thing I will say for LGD, last game they lacked engage. They do not lack it this game. They have a Rel. They have an Ari to follow up and even start some off. They have Heng, who's maybe going to flush this wall, or are you just going to punch it? Okay, if he could get these Krugs, this is a little risky.
Well, Croco's only going to be level 2 as well. The only thing is he has the red buff here. And Heng, I think, was hoping that Croco was going to start towards the top side of the map, so ends up just wasting some time here after taking his first buff of the game. Now making his way back towards his own set of camps on the bottom side. Top lane, not too much in terms of pushing power for Sheer just yet. And speaking of push, that's what 1xN is doing down to the bottom lane here on the Ziggs.
Yeah, Heng takes a gamble. Unfortunately, doesn't pay off, as I'm sure a lot of our LPL chatters will know. That doesn't, you know, they don't always pay off. And Heng will be later on the clear. It doesn't really lose anything outside of time and maybe access to the top scuttle, but he does have information that Croco started bot side, which is important. It means that Sasa will be prepared for it, and it means that Heng, while has not as fast access to the scuttle, will know immediately to run down to the bot side and go for that scuttle instead.
I was kind of confused as to what Heng was doing. He sat in the bush for a little bit after, you know, seeing that the red buff was gone, and then kind of seemed like we almost visualized him going through some internal dialogue in his head, trying to figure out if he would win a fight at level 2 against Croco, who had the red buff, and then decided against it. Ends up not going for the Raptors even, not even, you know, just immediately going back. It was just a weird middle ground that results in him being very far behind on his clear right now.
So Croco thinks that Heng is bot side right now because he hasn't seen the contest on the scuttle. Croco is fully sure that Heng is bot side, so his bot lane is playing much safer because of it. But Heng's actually just incredibly late on his clear, hasn't been spotted on the wave, and will be able to reset, and it's going to be close. Hopefully, go for this scuttle crab. There's no vision to show. He did, but it should be back up. It's up back now, so he will have this smite up. Heng should be able to base after this, get, you know, what, double longsword or longsword, ruby crystal, the same as Croco, and even though that awkward start happens, Croco will only now on the wards, he question mark pinged Heng. So they now know what happened. But
he was
up until then,
just like us.
Yeah.
That was a weird one, especially if you're Croco and you didn't see all that we saw, and it's just somehow the jungler is just a little bit further behind from you than you're perhaps anticipating. Nobody could have, you know, when you're visualizing opposing jungle paths, you're not thinking, okay, he's going to do blue, then sit in my red buff pit for 15 seconds and then go back after doing nothing. That's not normally what goes into the calculus.
Yeah, the base is the same. Literally bought the exact same thing, including the same jungle starter, so it's completely fine. YCX has no mana, so that crash down was a little bit ambitious. Weren't going to be able to get anything off else after that, but I mean, if you're Croco, if I'm Croco there, I'm definitely going back after this game, no matter what happens, and just saying, guys, can we just check what Heng did? Not only is it funny, but it is actually an important scouting tool. If Heng does do that, and Croco starts topside, that is a really good, you know, that's a really good play that Heng makes. It only looks silly because Croco, he gambled the 50-50, Croco started bot side. This is a really nice sit here.
Yeah, he's going to just immediately be able to land that empowered spear onto Heng.
Punched in.
A chunk of damage back, though, and with the pressure that BuLLDog has in the mid lane, will make sure that Croco will not be in danger, and it is actually Levi to steal away those Raptors, or at least secure his own Raptors, I should say, as he makes his way back towards the top side of the map.
Well, we've wasted time on Croco now because he sat in that bush, so the clear is basically dead even. It's not easy to secure away from Pantheon, who has Q Smite up. So, well played by Heng to secure that big Raptor, the big chicken. Hope it tasted nice. But yeah, Croco wasted some time on his own, so we're basically back to even in clearing. Heng taking another base here. Dragon is up. It's just supports around here right now. Maybe Heng, with this base from Tangyuan, can come out and do this Drake. It would be nice to get another similar start to game one. In terms of positives for LGD, they got that first Dragon in game one. Starting it off for game two would be quite nice. Is this Roa Ari?
Yeah, we've seen this, I think, on and off over this last season. I think a lot of us here on the desk, I think Cubby, not the biggest fan of this. You feel like if you're Ari, you got to be doing a lot. You got to be doing damage. You got to be one-shotting people.
Yeah.
It's a weird middle ground I think we've seen a lot of Aris in the LPL go for. I know Nymera's streaming the games right now. I'm curious to see what he thinks as well. But yeah, unusual to say the least.
He's a big Dark Seal enjoyer, which means damage. I don't know. Heng back here again. I would have to say I agree with Cubby. I'm not really convinced by it. We'll have to see. There is a lot of damage. It's not AP Jax, which I am a little disappointed by. So if it's Roa Ari, tank Jax, the damage onus for most of this game. Okay, Ari will get damage later. Like, that's just how the Roa build works. But the damage is on Shaoye. Shaoye needs to perform, you know, if it's maybe a collector start, or I've seen some Storm Razor could be nice too. Maybe it's a Yuntal start if Shaoye gets enough gold, but there isn't a ton of actual damage coming out of LGD.
Another game, another slow start here for LNG, which I think it still makes sense, albeit maybe not as much scaling as game number one had, but 1xN is certainly going to provide a lot of damage, and then of course those team fights are going to hit eventually. It's interesting to see a team kind of adopt a very set playstyle, at least in terms of how their games so far have gone. They want to scale, they want to be the team fighting team, and so far that has worked here for them in this season. Guess we're going to have to just continue to wait and see how that will continue to fare, as the competition will get tougher and tougher as you progress throughout the season of LPL.
Nice. Oh, nice base cancel. Sasa ults, but no mana. That means that's the end of that. So Sheer not only cancels the base, Sasa's going to lose this wave. I mean, he does have TP, so should be able to get back for it. He does stay. Okay. Not too bad. Cancels the base, stays. This gives pride to Croco. He's able to start up these grubs. Sheer will keep Sasa in lane here, so the Croco is fully aware. He is completely okay to continue doing these grubs. Ooh, miss from YCX. Just a grub for dragon trade. This is... actually, never mind.
Here comes the Grand Starfall onto Heng. Across the river goes Croco and BuLLDog coordinating on this play. And they're going to be able to chunk out the enemy jungler. One more auto does not proc the passive, but the weirding does, and BuLLDog will pick up first blood. Two-man solar flare, and there's the Mega Inferno Bomb as well. LNG looking to try to burst it down LGD, but Shaoye with the red and white guns able to get a kill back, and is still able to pump out a bunch of damage before BuLLDog eventually shuts him down. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of LNG, and now the teleport has come forward, as it's going to be Sasa looking to rejoin the fight, with BuLLDog without a flash. Will get stunned up by the counter-strike and taken down. A shutdown goes the way of Sasa, and we're evened up at 2 in game 2.
It's a great TP from Sasa to save that play, but LNG look scary. the fast decision from Croco to ult onto the Dragon Pit, pushing out Heng. Croco gets the Dragon as well because he has Smite. There's no jungler involved. Missing with a really nice ult onto 2 people. And Croco goes back up after securing 1 grub and gets the other 2. Just, if we ignore the Sasa great roam, which I'm not going to ignore, but if we ignore it for a second, that was a full net positive for LNG where they win across the board. Sasa saves it. So this is barely on vision with a ward in the pit that's hidden. Really nice stun buff up. Bluetooth stun. BuLLDog chases out Heng with the roam from 1xN. So that it pinches Heng. But in the top side, look, missing, forcing away Shaoye. Croco gets the Dragon. Double stun. There's that Ziggs dive aspect I was talking about. And yes, Croco dies. Some gold over to Shaoye, but this core of LNG that continues to fight is so strong. It's only saved by the fact that this TP is not on vision. If they saw this earlier, before the Zenith Blade goes in, BuLLDog might not die. He only knows here. No flash. Really nice shutdown.
And so, Sasa able to save things a little bit, but LNG still feeling good, especially off of getting that Dragon. It is, once again, Croco and BuLLDog there to coordinate on that play. You see the ultimate come on the other side, and you're like, wait, what is Croco even going for? And then you see where it's headed. It's towards the Dragon before BuLLDog's even fully there. So it is Croco from across the mid lane, the one to get there first to the play, and BuLLDog is still there to make sure they're able to follow up on that and create a pretty good set of circumstances here for LNG. They're up 1.2 thousand gold at the 11-minute mark, and they're looking in a very similar position, Jbetto, to how they were in game number 1.
And pretty much all of it's on BuLLDog, who's completed this Hextech Rocket Belt. Nice try with that ult. And then you can see the combo from the Ziggs Leona. A bit of a standard that we saw when Ziggs gets picked up last year. But Rocket Belt Aurora, I haven't seen... Oh, Croco, nice roam.
Another beautiful Grand Starfall. Seeing Shaoye chunked, goes straight in and gets that kill on to the Aphelios. But here comes the rest of LGD. Heng and Tangyuan on this Viore combo certainly have damage in their own right, but the Blast Cone going to send them away and make sure that LNG are out safely.
So that's on a control ward. They, like, LGD know that LNG cannot see them in that brush, but they're aware that there's a possibility. They might have seen them walking in from the wards in the mid brush, but very good awareness from LNG. The combo onto Shaoye, who didn't go cleanse. Oh, sorry, he does have cleanse. I don't know why he didn't cleanse. The slow at least, but enough damage with the Super Mega... No, that's the other one. What is it? Mega Inferno Bomb. I always get those two ults mixed up for some reason. Mega Inferno Bomb onto Shaoye, and then the Grand Starfill. Another TP in. This time it's only from YCX to allow his mid laner to push out. But yeah, Roa Ari now completed 1 stack. Dark Seal, so, you know, Nightmare will be happy about that at least, but no stacks. There's, again, really no damage from this, like, mage assassin Ari champion, and it will be the Yuntal for Shaoye that hasn't been completed yet, so LGD will still really suffer in damage if Sasa isn't there.
Yeah, you think Viore finally maybe are going to use the first issuance of this cease and desist, but not even going to use it onto Missing just yet. Another Vault Breaker comes through. 2-man Solar Flare going to buy some time, but a lot of crowd control going to go down onto this Leona. Tanky, but not tanky enough, as it should eventually be. No, Heng, just press the ultimate, brother. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's not great. I will say Missing has the Mikhails, which is an insane first item, but does make sense this game. I'm actually loving the support diversity in items after Redemption's got removed from the game, basically. Hasn't, but it got reworked stats to the point that it's not going to get picked first out anymore. We've seen 4 different support items so far. I mean, unless YCX also goes Mikhails first this game. We've seen, what was it, the Echoes of Hellier and the Imperial Mandate last game. And then this game, it's Mikhails and maybe a Locket this game for YCX would make sense. Bandle Pipes is an option, but on Rel, I'm not quite sure. Really nice live from Missing. But Heng, you do just have to press ult there, man.
I mean, he used the Mikhails. Able to get value out of that, sure. There was another thing to crowd control that Heng could have wanted to use. It seemed like he was waiting is like saving it for this dragon fight potentially, which he's not even going to
Could
be able to
be.
use it for that because Croco is there first and able to claim it. So it kind of goes back to the point that I was trying to make before that play ended up starting. Heng and Tangyuan on Viari. This is right up their wheelhouse. What we've seen in the Demacia Cup, them going for plays together as a duo, being aggressive. But then we see Heng not using his ultimate at all in the first 15 minutes of the game, and Tangyuan going for Rod of Ages. So despite the champions that were picked and our expectations going in, it has not been matched so far in the first 15 minutes of this game.
I have to say, this always, for the most part, goes under the radar, especially on champions like Rel, Leona. But Missing has been all over YCX in this series. The Nami playing with Croco, initiating fights with him or following up on fights, buffing Croco and 1xN, and in this game, providing so much space with the ults, living in that engage. I mean, Missing is a player that has had really high highs. He's caught here though. Nice flash.
Really nice flash to get away from the Magnus Storm, and now Tangyuan could be in some trouble, but the Empowered Blast Cone, he actually pops it onto the Pantheon to send Croco away. So, play on the bot lane fails here for LNG, which means that LGD can start off the Rift Herald. Should be able to burst it down rather easily, and no smite in sight for LNG. Sheer pops a Dominus, but is going to get stunned up by the Counter-Strike, and the Rift Herald does get secured by LGD. But here comes the remaining fight. Shaoye in tremendous trouble and gets taken down by 1xN instantly. Heng going to be in the Rift Herald to keep himself unvulnerable for now. Landed up on the Missing, and Tangyuan with the final issuance of that ultimate will be able to get the kill onto the Leona. LNG will back away after only losing one, but now Sasa is going to be in some trouble before eventually popping the teleport to get away. The Rift Herald does belong here to LGD, but LNG get another kill on the board.
I did not know you could do that. That tech from Sasa was kind of crazy. Hold the Counter-Strike so that you don't take enough damage to die or get stunned out. Kind of crazy from Sasa, but sure, Heng gets the Herald. It's used immediately. That objective doesn't even count. Really? It's a bit of golden XP. Croco
finds Heng once again, but Sasa is in the right place at the right time. Flash will be traded by both junglers, and it will be Heng able to jump back in and give Sasa his second kill of the game.
I'm going to talk about that fight as if Croco didn't do that, because that wasn't great.
Yep.
He didn't need to flash. He probably could have flashed a save. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that part. But it's another great dive from LNG. They play this so well. So sure, they miss, but watch Missing's ult. Look who the target is. So here comes the TP from BuLLDog, the Grand Starfall Shaoye. Pushed back by the ult. It looked at the ult dodge, but no, it didn't. What's happening is the ult is placed behind Shaoye, so he has to walk into Missing to dodge it, and Missing has the Q stun. Instantly, they collapse onto Shaoye. He dies so fast, and then the Herald... Okay, it did crash it. We didn't see that. I thought he ran away with it, but it did crash, so that's a fair objective. This was cool. Look, he's counter-striking, so he lives.
I did not know that was possible. I'm gonna
Neither.
My E teleport combo. Mark that down, Jax players, if you want to look cool in front of your friends for next time you're in game.
Okay, Jax players, maybe don't watch this. No, another counter-strike.
He's all right.
It's fine.
That was great. Hey, remember, Leona Q counts as an auto attack. So
guys, press your E on Jax. It's pretty strong. 1xN.
Good ability. Missing's going to be in a bit of trouble, though, as LGD send all 5 members down here into the bottom side river. Will be alive for this next dragon, though, which is spawning in about 70 seconds. That would be LNG's sole point. Oh, ICX, though, suddenly feeling a little bit confident now in a 4v5, forcing Missing to pop that, or 1xN, I should say, to pop that statue charge.
No flash. Did you have to use the heal and the ult? The ult will be back up. Croco nearly walks into aggressive there. Some mistakes happening in this game. Croco overstepping. Missing's been caught twice now, but he doesn't live that second time. Looks like it was stolen away by Heng there. So, again, nice on the smite, steals away the 50-50s from Croco. If we do get in a situation, we didn't see this game one, if we do get in a situation where LGD are flipping a Soul or a Baron, maybe you take positive odds for Heng?
Has he used it yet? Am I misremembering? I think he has at this point. The cease and desist. But perhaps not in a moment that has been memorable enough for me to recall at this point.
Hard ability to use.
Yeah, a lot of skill in terms of the VIR. So.
Again,
understandable.
The game's not done, Grapes, but this is another situation where, at face value, this is LGD not really playing a comp to its strengths. Okay, they're only down 1,000 gold, but it's a very similar story where LNG kind of walk forward. They've made some mistakes this game. LGD have more kills, but I haven't seen a Vi-Ari combo once this game. We're 20 minutes in.
Is that they could potentially fight around this dragon. Sasa does have his teleport back up, although Sheer does as well. But it's LNG with full control of the mid lane, and because of that, the bottom side river, where this dragon currently does lie. Waiting to see if LGD want to face check right now. YCX getting chunked down a little bit by BuLLDog. And LNG are comfortable to just sit here and not actually start the dragon, clear out another wave, and force LGD to make a mistake on their own.
Invisible is BuLLDog fishing, but again, LGD no prior. They have engaged this time. Both top laners have TP.
Yeah, YCX going to go for that phase check, but doesn't end up using that crash down offensively. Teleports have been traded by Sasa and Sheer, as all 5 members of both squads are now in the mid lane. Going to be a reset here for YCX to allow for LGD to get back into a better position. Croco using that shield to buy a little bit of movement speed and forcing Tangyuan to pop the Spirit Rush and get away. Still has 2 procs of that ultimate, but it will be LNG to start off this dragon, try to give themselves soul point. Tangyuan dashes to the wall, does not land the charm. That means that LNG should be able to control this area.
Heng has his R button still. This is a great time to use it.
Will the target be? In goes Sheer, landing that stun onto Heng, but look at the collapse. BuLLDog has been taken down by Shaoye, who is red-white and already has a double kill in this team fight, forcing Sheer back, but he's on the wrong side of the rift, and Sasa will take him down. A decisive team fight for LGD, gets them 3 kills and the dragon.
What an engage from YCX. As you said, Grapes, who's the target for LNG? It was Heng. They snap onto Heng. They know that that R button is so crucial, but they forgot about the other R button. YCX does so much. I'm going to have to hold my point here because Baron is being started. Croco is still around.
And BuLLDog has teleport in 5 seconds time. Going to be difficult for the Pantheon to get into the pit, but maybe they can win a team fight afterwards. But that's not going to be the option that LNG go for. Teleport to the bot lane to reset a wave here for BuLLDog. And actually, the Baron has been reset. LGD didn't think that LNG were going to go for we're going to allow them to take it. And so they end up backing off and allowing the Baron Nashor to live.
Take a look back here. So the engage is onto Heng, but it doesn't really link up. Heng's able to flash away. YCX. Flash R, crash out onto 3. Big Moonlight Vigil from Shaoye unleashes with red-white so many chakrams. Great fight from LGD. Heng getting the flash out there is crucial. It means that LNG have to overstep too far, and that's what allows YCX to engage with this. It wasn't the Bandle Pipes, but it is the 4th support item this series so far. First item, the Zeke's Convergence that now gives ultimate ability haste. Really nice item on champions like Rel, like Rakan, who need that engage up often, and YCX takes his team to the first real gold lead that LGD have had.
Now Sasa, with a lot of strength picked up, 2 full items, and seen Eptom in that inventory, probably just Azanya's, but
yeah,
you can see where that's going to continue to go. LGD finally in a good position. Can they continue to capitalize off of it? I think that fight really showed us what they have to do to win, though, Jbetto. It is going to be big combos from YCX, and Shaoye really popping off in some of these team fights. But Sasa also in a great position in this one.
It should just be the Zonyas for Sasa. Can't go the Dusk and Dawn item because A, I don't think it builds out of Amp Tome, but also, unfortunately, because he's already got Trinity Force, can't go another Spellblade. It might be, something else, but the pretty standard option is the Zonyas. Horizon Focus, Jax, thoughts? You can proc the passive, right? Surely.
Yeah, I'm a pass. I think Zonyas is fine. I think Zonyas is fine.
I think LGD are going to pass too.
We still have the Baron up, remember, because LGD did not end up taking it. And so now it is going to be our red side. Actually, with advantage around the river with vision control. Croco going to try to prevent that, but he's going to be met with a Vault Breaker to the face on the side of Heng. Will there be a continued follow-up? Don't think so at this point with LNG fully committed to that mid lane. Here comes Croco though. He uses the Empowered Blast Cone, goes for a big stun on the Heng, and but he's going to get bursted down rather easily, and Shaoye is back in with a Moonlight Vigil to take down 2 more. It is a double kill back in for the Aphelios, and now LGD can start up the Baron for good.
Again, the engage, BuLLDog.
Oh, what a charm from max range. Tangyuan finds the target. BuLLDog not going to be able to be taken down, but that'll be the nail in the coffin for this Baron fight. LGD going to secure it and maybe even look for more, as LNG were looking for a push in the mid lane instead. Patience is finally rewarded for LGD fans. They get their first major objective of the series.
Not even able to trade that tier 2 in mid. The engage again from LNG is onto Heng, and again it doesn't hit because Heng buffers with his own ult. Shaoye is able to hit a massive Moonlight Vigil. With this time, it was red-blue. I think it was the Inferno ult, and he just tears LNG to pieces. We'll take a look back. So Croco sends it. I have to give LNG props. It is great that they send it on the Empowered Blast Cone on the Heng, but he gets his ult off. Look. So he isn't able to be hit by either the ult, there, the Mega Inferno Bomb, or the ult from Leona. Shaoye lands in with a nice double kill. At the beginning of the game, Shaoye was the one getting caught. He has the cleanse. See how much damage that 1xN does. Imagine if that was Pantheon W as well. He's dead. But instead it's on the Heng every time, so in the last 2, and they haven't been able to kill him because the damage hasn't been hitting.
And it didn't really matter for that fight, but Sasi teleport, Sheer did not. Ended up being a 5v4. Not the best opportunity here for Croco to go in onto that target under those specific circumstances. So, bit of a mistake here for our MVP jungler from last game, as LGD will be able to get this dragon off the back of their Baron power play, and even up that count at 2 as well. Their next focus will be some of these structures in the mid and the bot lane. Seems to be where they are allocating their resources as of now. Sending Shaoye alongside YCX down towards the bottom lane with Sasi and Tangyuan in mid.
The good news for LNG is while they are losing towers and LGD have a real gold lead for themselves, a really solid one too, it's only 2 Drakes to LGD. It's a while away from Sol. You've got a minute left of Baron. If you can hold on to your base, you will be in an okay spot to fight. The problem is that LGD have done a great job of pushing. We're up 6,000 gold after this Baron play. They were up 700 around about when they won that Dragon fight before. So LNG have really fumbled the ball in this game. It will be a back off from LGD, so that's all that they'll get. With only 30 seconds of Baron left, there's no way that they'll be able to get on this last wave that's spawning now as the last Baron wave that would really hit the tower. So they've gotten a massive goal lead for themselves. LNG have been presented with 2 decisions. Do we ult Heng to try to take out their primary engage? Although we haven't been landing on, and look at that build.
Yeah,
Zeke's Convergence, and the, I can't pronounce this item's name, but the one that gives you a bunch of healing and tenacity when you go below like 30% health.
Protoplasm Harness. Basically Mundo ult on steroids in an item. Very, very strong in terms of just staying alive. You already have the Sunder Sky to do a little bit of damage, so Heng has become an ultimate bot, but that's fine due to the way the rest of his team is playing right now.
Well, this Roa Ari as well, not too far away from actually doing really meaningful damage, has Crypt Bloom, 9 stacks of Dark Seal now. We're going again.
And it's going to be on to Tangyuan, but he is tanky with that Rod of Ages in tow. Spirit Rush going to get him away from that extra damage of BuLLDog. And that means they're going to get away from now until Croco finally flashes forward and shuts down the Ari. Moonlight Vigil only onto the Pantheon, so that is a big play for LNG, making sure that nothing more is taken after that Baron push.
And Croco did not go onto Shaoye. He went onto Tangyuan, so that could have been maybe a miscommunication. Sasi has the Empowered Blast Cone. He should be fine to get out of this. No, they're fighting?
A little bit here, but then it's going to send Sheer right over as he had beautiful foresight to flash straight in to that Blast Cone. With the Dominance going to stay alive, and Missing's going to help keep him there. And it's going to be a big shutdown onto Sasi as Sheer picks up nearly a K. That is another 2 big kills
Croco
here for LNG, and Croco's able to survive by popping that Aegis as well. They are right back into this game number 2.
Yeah, they've halved the gold lead nearly. After this tower, they basically have all the gold that LGD got was off that Baron, and LNG take half of it off with one fight and some shutdowns there. The engage, I'm not sure if the play was to split the damage, so Tangyuan gets stunned and Shaoye takes the Mega Inferno Bomb to the face, but it looks like it's on Shaoye. It's not. He's slowed, but Croco goes to the left, the Mega Inferno Bomb goes to the right, but now Aphelios no flash. Really nice chase from LNG. They can't engage at this low HP. It's really, the Graviton Moonlight Vigil for the slow is great, and it's beautiful that Sheer is able to flash in. Missing goes in with the Zenith Blade to help out Sheer get that big shutdown, which is a big part that's evened up the gold lead a little bit. It's only now, 2,000 gold left. LGD have stabilized it back up to 4,000 for their lead, but 2 dragons apiece, Grapes, and you've got Tangyuan 1k up. Doesn't mean as much right now. Has the Rabadons. If BuLLDog can complete this Rabadons, his own, maybe if 1xN can do the same, that will turn into basically a full one-shot onto Shaoye, which would be absolutely ridiculous. 4 items at 30 minutes on a roll that gets 7 items, 6 plus boots. He's nearly... Now, I assume he's going to sell the tier. He might upgrade it, but who's in this bush?
Tangyuan looking for a flank. Spear rushes forward. The target is 1xN, but he is able to flash away. But 1xCX with a big Magnet Storm is going to slow down the retreat of LNG until Sasi comes in with the teleport. Not going to find a stun here with that counter strike, and now the counter attack here is in for LNG. They take down Heng. Sasi going forward, but once again not finding a stun until he jumps forward back on 1xN. But Sheer with the dominance is massive and is going to chunk YCX down again. Moonlight Vigil not going to burst anybody down as Sasi has gone golden, and he can be able to push away by the satchel charge. Missing, not able to get any more members low, and it will just be that 1 kill going over onto Heng.
One of the biggest parts of this is that Shaoye now no longer has cleanse. Maybe LGD can burst this down without their jungler, but it's very risky to do so, so they will back off. But no cleanse for a while now. You can see how important this Aphelios is, Grapes, to the team comp. When he's one-shot, LGD can't do anything. In that fight, LNG find some great fight. They take out Heng. There's great damage onto the front line. They play a pick-style front-to-back comp, but Shaoye is still unchecked in the back line. It's kill Aphelios or lose the game here.
Should have been a much better fight for LGD there. They don't get anybody, actually. They actually only lose their jungler. And now it's going to be the flash just about to come back up here for Shaoye. He also picks up a QSS, so a second cleanse in inventory. This Aphelios will be frightening unless LNG can lock him down. Dragon has been started up. It will be sole point for whoever's able to claim it, but Heng's going to go forward onto Croco. It is red and white guns for Shaoye. The Aphelios will be a big problem, and so is Sasi as he lands the counter-strike, but YCX starting to get taken down, but there go the carries. There goes BuLLDog. Heng already low, and Sasi's diving the back line. Guardian Angel has been popped for Croco. He's going to stay alive, but finally 1xN will get taken down. It's up to Sheer. Has the dominance, but Tangyuan and Shaoye able to stand tall. They get the kill onto the Leona, and they're going to go into the mid lane with only Sheer left standing.
Shaoye against the world. He buys the QSS in base. He doesn't even need to use it. LNG had a hold over this series, and they fumble it completely. They have a game plan that is right in their faces, and they can't execute on. LGD should bring this to a 1-1 and find their in this series.
Kill number 7 for Shaoye as he dings level 16 right as the Nexus will fall. LGD survive, and they will take us to a decider.
Now this is more like it.
Oh yeah.
Because in that first game, LNG dominated. In this second one, they looked like they were poised to do the same thing. But LGD protect their backline, and Shaoye picks up a very important... the easiest MVP vote of my entire life. But what a performance from Shaoye.
I want to give Sasi some love as well on the Jax. He was doing a lot of the disrupting on the back line and making sure none of those dive threats were able to get onto the Aphelios there. But yes, Shaoye definitely did a ton of damage. I'd expect him to top the charts there once we get towards our graphics in the post-game. But we thought going in after that first game, LNG could have been in a good position to just clean the series up, be the presumptive favorites to get out of Group Nirvana, and go move on to bigger and brighter things. But LGD, I can say not so fast as they come in and even up our score at 1-1.
And remember, one of these two teams will end tonight as first seed for Group Nirvana. So this is very important. Again, you only get to play this matchup twice. If you win this one and win the next one, when it comes around, you will guarantee yourself first seed. After the performances we've seen of these two teams versus the other two teams, unless there's some really nice upsets, these should be your two top seeds for Group Nirvana. Coming head-to-head with a big clash like this, I think for LGD, this is a very important series, or very important game, I should say, for the conversation, for having them in the conversation in their play-ins run if they make it there. Because if they make it as second seed, and Game 2 looked like Game 1. We go next week, and these teams play again. It looks very similar. It really feels like it's just LNG coming out of Group Nirvana. But in my opinion, even if it's just one game, it doesn't feel like that anymore. We know that LGD can find it. They just have to continue at the same height.
And the question is for LNG, how did that happen? I think, to be fair, maybe experimenting with some new stuff in terms of composition. I don't think 1xN is going to always necessarily be on that Ziggs. It did some good work, but I don't know if it was good enough necessarily for them to kind of take control of that game. But we even saw, despite them maybe not looking as comfortable, we're able to win some of those big team fights towards the end of the game. And I think that is bright sides to look at here for LNG. But you definitely wanted to have this win. You definitely want to have the confidence of sweeping through this Group Nirvana. It felt like for them that was the expectation and what they were hoping to accomplish. But obviously not going to happen here, as it is LGD that end up evening up our series. And hey, yeah, another case for my MVP Sasi vote. He did the most damage in the entire game. Or actually, no, 1xN did a little bit more, but he did the most damage on his team.
Look at that LPL gold graph right there.
Yeah,
that's insane.
There it is.
That's only, 100 more damage that 1xN did for Sasi too. So you're right. Absolutely putting in work on the front line. Did a ton of space creation from Shaoye. You could also make an argument for YCX. Put their team back in the game with that ult. I say LNG, their team fight in the early game micro and macro decisions look very strong. I would say vastly superior to LGD. But the ability to find an angle like YCX did and then to continue to win fights, okay, sure, on mistakes that LNG are making. I don't love the all-ins onto Heng, even if you one-shot him, and they didn't one-shot him in these fights, so you've used a significant amount of your tools to try to kill the jungler who you didn't kill and could still ult you, could still do something, requires more tools, but very nice gank here from Sasi. I think LGD finding these small angles in where LNG makes these tiny missteps. We go too far forward, Sasi TP's in. We overcommit for Heng. YCX goes in. We, again, commit to Heng and Shaoye unleashes with the Moonlight Vigil. Is good for this series. LNG need to reevaluate their game plan that they came in with this game. And even though I still think it's a worry for LNG, this is the first fight, what an engage from YCX. But they didn't really find the Vi-Ahri synergy once this game. So it's still a concern for me going into Game 3, but at least we can say they've got some pretty solid clutch factor.
Yeah, I mean, able to deliver in some of these big moments. I feel like YCX definitely more in his comfort zone here on this Rel pick versus perhaps the Karma that we saw in game number 1. So a lot of the bright sides that we saw from him in the Demacia Cup and also even when he was on LGD just last season. This was the moment where we thought maybe LNG were able to turn things around a little bit with Sheer on the Renekton going forward here, finding that nice play. But it was the fight after this that eventually decided things, and just really well played by some of these crucial members. I think, watch Sasa on this fight, kind of splitting it in two and allowing for Shaoye to do a ton of damage untouched.
I'll have to refrain from ever talking about Horizon-focused Jacks again, or I might get fired. I'll note that for next time. I've just, you know. But, yeah, I think that for LGD, again, it's still a concern for me. But this not really playing the comps perfectly the way that you'd want them to be played. But I think that going forward here, if you're able to give some agency to Shaoye, some late game carry potential, the Caitlyn Karma didn't look bad in lane, but we didn't really play around it. Sasa is kind of the linchpin, so maybe I'm leaning more towards your kind of MVP vote here. The linchpin that pulled it together. If the support, lane, and mid jungle are not going to provide us the space, let Sasa do it himself so that Shaoye can free cast in these fights. Because it really was, if Shaoye was dead, there wasn't enough damage to get through everybody. Sasa did do a massive part. All right, +1 for Grapes.
There's his first MVP of the season as well. Sasa, player that I was pretty excited about last year, had his bright moments, and he went through his rookie campaign in 2025. As LGD found varying levels of success throughout the year, he was relatively consistent, and hey, still has his pocket Udyr potentially left available here for game number 3, and that is just what we are about to get to after this short break here on LPL English, the decider between LNG and LGD here in Group Nirvana.